Hello. Welcome to Founders Live Center Stage. I'm Nick Hughes, founder and CEO of Founders Live, and I'm joined by some special guests today. And we are here for the Founders Live Center Stage coming live from Houston, Texas. What's up, Luis? What's up, Rob? How are you both doing tonight?
Hi, Nick.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Welcome everyone. Hey, we are excited. We have an incredible show tonight, packed full of, announcements from Founders Live, a special guest. We're going to talk about optimal mindset. We're going to do previews of the startups that are going to pitch at the next upcoming Founders Live event happening next hour in Houston. But so excited. Hey, want to shoot it over to Rob. Welcome. What are you excited about with this event happening tonight? You're joining us for the first time as a host of Center Stage.
Yeah, this is my first time, being a part of this. So I'm excited to hear what everybody has to say. I'm excited to talk to our special guest and ask him some pretty intricate questions, right, about his journey and some of the cool things that he's doing in the professional sports space and with athletes and things like that, right? And so, yeah, man, I'm ready to go.
Awesome. Luis, you've been my host since we started Center Stage. You've been our host as a part of the team. What's up, man?
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Hi, Rob. Hi, everyone. It's awesome to be in Houston today. Well, we're in the cloud, but to be visiting Houston. And, this show continues to get better and better. We've got a brand new co-host with us who will be with us periodically throughout the going forward. That's a super highlight for me. And we have a very special guest, David Nurse, coming in later to talk with Nick and Rob. And it's just an example of how we're just continuing to rev this show higher and higher. And I am just so excited to keep this rolling.
Well, thank you. And so for everyone, this is a fast-paced show. We're going to run through a number of different things tonight. And so I'm going to flip through this real quick, share what's going on. I'm going to drop you both off just so I can run through this real quick. But what we have going on, everyone, as Founders Live Center Stage, you may be familiar with Founders Live. You may not. This might be your first time. But this is our new show coming from live from Houston, Texas. In an hour, we're going to drop in and have a live Founders Live event. It's like Shark Tank. You got pitches, you got questions from the audience, and then you as the audience will vote on the winner. It's so exciting. But first, this is Founders Live. We're the ultimate entrepreneurial experience and virtual pitch competition. This is the new Founders Live experience around inspiration, education, and entertainment. We have a global ecosystem that also involves local communities. And so when you look at our global social network and really this ecosystem that's being built out, then we have our local live events. Again, what's happening in Houston, Texas tonight. We are building out this modern homepage of the entrepreneur that involves all the things that help make them successful. Then we combine that with these monthly live events, hundreds of guests, 5 companies, each has a 99-second pitch. They get 4 minutes with questions from the audience. Then we again are going to determine who is that winner. The industry defining brand, we are building that out and really to be the default location and destination for you all that are looking to grow yourself and your business to the next level. Founders Live started in Seattle. I started it in 2014, actually, and we are still expanding around the world. We reach 90 cities, almost 100 cities around the world in 28. That's going to be 30 countries here soon and a lot more going forward. Hundreds of thousands of people. You can see that, the dots around the world. Can't wait to continue and expand that. Hey, if you want to expand Founders Live, make sure that you reach out to us. You can find us on the website at founderslive.com. If you just type in expand.founderslive, you will see that as well. And you can reach out and let us know where you want to expand. Before we get going here, it's important to really share our 5 core values that really are the foundation of this experience. First one is respectful authenticity. We include everyone. We make sure that we can include everyone in this entrepreneurial experience. And we believe everyone has an equal opportunity to be successful. And that is the underlying aspect of how we bring this experience and community to the world. Secondly, gather around the campfire. Hey, we're all storytellers. You, as an entrepreneur, are telling a story of the vision of the future that you want to make and create in the world. And we encourage you to find your campfire, find your community, and entertain them with your stories. Thirdly, open the door. What does that mean? Do great things for people without expecting a return. You know what happens there? Not only are you helping people move forward, but it comes back to you tenfold, right? And that's just the way the world works. And so we encourage you to expand, reach out and help them with introductions, or maybe help them in some way that you're not asking for a return. And that's the community that we want to be building around the world. Fourthly, business equals fun. So, hey, have fun while you do business. You can see that that's the underpin of Founders Live. And last one, our newest core value, is really around climate consciousness. There's a problem we as an entire society globally have. We have a project to really help fix what is happening, and we are committing to operating our global business in a climate conscious manner, including measuring and lessening our footprint where possible. And we encourage you and your business to take these measures as well, to be a part of the solution. All right, center stage. And we have our next segment. We have a special guest. We have David Nurse. He's MBA mindset coach, 2 times best-selling author and motivational speaker. I'm so excited to bring on David Nurse, and we're going to pop back on Robert here, and we're going to have a great conversation around mindset and what it takes to not only operate at the highest levels, but be happy and be successful at the same time. Here we go. David, welcome to the show. And I'm popping on Robert. David, what's going on today?
How's it going, bro? Hey, thanks for having me on. Appreciate you guys.
It's awesome. Awesome. And I want to introduce you to Rob Turbin. He has had experience in professional athletes as well. And Robert, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, Robert Turbin, man. I was fortunate enough to play 8 seasons in the NFL. And I've actually worked with some mindset coaches myself, not long term, but have had some experiences and some run-ins with them. So I'll have some pretty interesting questions to ask from you.
Well, great to meet you. And hopefully those are good interactions you've had with mindset coaches. Hopefully they weren't the negative. Was it Trevor Moad? I know he was good friends with
Moad was one of them. Gervais was the other guy.
Yeah. All great guys, man.
And so, all positive interactions with those fellas. I think the mental aspect of really anything, in your approach to it, whether it be sports, business, it's key. It's important. It plays a huge role into your success. So, I'm interested to hear some of the stories you have.
Yeah, totally, man. But I mean, that's why the Seattle Seahawks are always one of the best teams, because you guys are forward thinking. You guys are willing to think outside the box and obviously understand the importance of mindset development.
Yeah, having an open mind, right, is important. Being open to even, saying like, hey, okay, what are some things that I can do myself mentally before a game, preparation wise, whether it be a meditation series that I do every morning or before the game or before a play even, right? What am I looking at? Is there something in the stadium that I can look at and it locks me in, right? Sounds kind of funny, but these are actual true things. I mean, I have a teammate who in what used to be Century Link, but is now Lumen Field. There was a corner of the end zone that is, that was like his lock in, look, you look at it and boom, he was ready to go. Like it was just, I mean, it sounds weird, but that's one of the things about, the mental aspect of the game. It doesn't matter where it comes from, who it is, what it is, as long as it gets you in the right mindset. That's the important part.
Absolutely.
Yeah. David, I wanted to jump in here and kind of kick off this with, you have experience playing the highest level of athletics as well as coached a number of professional athletes. And what would you say is the biggest lesson you've taken, playing and coaching at the professional, level? What did you take from that, just even from high performance to preparation, mindset? Can you sum it up for us as we get into this conversation around optimal mindset?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been blessed to be around a ton of NBA players who have gone on to have 28 NBA All-Star appearances. And the formula that I see when players step on the floor for the first time, of if they're going to have the potential to play in the NBA, to be an all-star in the NBA, comes down to three things. Number one, it's talent. You have to have talent, and this means knowing where your strengths are. Like if you're for an example, one player that I worked with, Kyle Korver in the NBA, he's one of the best three-point shooters of all time. But when he was coming into the NBA, before the NBA, he wanted to do a little bit of everything. So he was good in all areas. But if you're good in all areas, you're not going to play in the NBA. You're not going to play professional sports. You have to be great. So figuring out what your strength is, this goes for entrepreneurs, for business leaders. What are you really good at? Pour your time into that bucket. You don't necessarily have to do everything within the company, but you just have to do your thing the best. And that's probably being a leader of your company. So the first thing is talent. The second thing is what I call insatiable drive. And this means, are you willing to put in the hours when nobody's watching, the unseen hours? And I can tell from a player that if they drag me to the gym, then they have this insatiable drive. If I have to tell them, hey, the workout's at this time, tomorrow, you got to be there, then it's going to be a little bit hard. It's like pulling teeth. So if you're an entrepreneur, it takes, you guys know, I mean, it takes 80-hour, 100-hour weeks, year after year after year. A friend of mine started It Cosmetics, Jamie Kern-Lima, and she'll tell stories of going for 10 years of literally working 120-hour weeks. Like, I didn't even know there's 120 hours in a week. But that's insatiable drive of knowing, like, hey, you know where you want to get to. Are you willing to put in the hours when you're not getting seen on the big screen, when you're not getting paid, when you're like, you have to have that as an entrepreneur and as an athlete. And the third piece is just simply relentless consistency. Day after day after day, are you pouring a little bit in? Are you watering those seeds that you've planted? Are you willing to just play the long game? I mean, we know, like, it never happens quickly. We live in a microwave society where everybody wants to have the fame, the success, the notoriety right away, but it won't happen. And if it does, you haven't even prepared for when a storm occurs. Your roots aren't even grown. Like, you'll fall out, you'll burn out. Like when I was coaching in the NBA at 27 years old with the Brooklyn Nets, like, I didn't know what I didn't know. Like, I was too young to have that position. I got there quickly. Took me a while. I thought it took me a while, but in the grand scheme of things, that's still too young. An example that I like to use is my uncle, who coaches the Toronto Raptors. He won an NBA championship in his first year as a head coach. And people were like, whoa, man, lightning strikes in a bottle. He got lucky, first year head coach. No, he'd been coaching for 27 years as a head coach before that. Small South Dakota colleges over in Belgium, England, where you don't even know they play basketball, as a head coach. But he lived in that mindset that he would be a head coach, an NBA championship head coach. So talent, you have to have it, know where your strengths are. Insatiable drive, what are you willing to do when the lights aren't on? And then just the day after day preparation of relentless consistency.
Love those. Rob, what would you add to that?
What would I add to that? He's the professional. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to ask the questions, but I think I think out of the three that you named, I'm just kidding, by the way, Nick. Out of the three that you named, the second one is certainly important. I think it's the driving factor. Knowing your strengths are huge as well. But for someone who is determined to be as good as they can be, great as they can be in all things, you're always trying to evolve and develop new skill sets, right? You want to get better at the things you're not great at, and you want to continue to sharpen the sword, for lack of a better word, of the things that you are great at, right? The one question that I had for you, though, and this could be sports or business, what are the indicators for you? Obviously you talked about talent. So talent is it's widely ranged, right? You're gonna have guys who are really, really talented, and you're gonna have people who aren't as talented, right? Perhaps they have to do a little bit more work in order to accomplish the things that they want to accomplish. And so everybody can probably use some sort of mindset or mental coach, but not everybody, quite frankly, needs one. And so for you, as you go into, I guess, a scouting mode, for lack of a better word, what are some of the indicators that you see in folks that lets you know, like, hey, they could use some services like mine?
Yeah. And to be honest, I think everybody needs a coach, like myself included. I think coaches is just as accountability, people that have been there before. The player is the hero. The coach is just the guide to help them get there. So a big thing that professional athletes struggle with, everybody in life struggles with, is confidence. And that's the number one thing that I see NBA players struggle with. If they miss 5, 6 shots, or they have a couple bad games and the media starts coming after them, like, how do they feel? And if they base who they are on the results, on the stats, on the made shots, the good games, then you're going to drive yourself nuts, because confidence doesn't come from the results. It comes from your self-awareness of who you are. So I have a 7 steps to unshakable confidence that I work with all my NBA players. And some examples in those is creating your own personal highlight reel. So I have all my NBA guys have their clips, their selected clips of their best games. And I'll have them in like a 2 to 3 minute reel. So they'll watch it every morning when they wake up, before they step on the floor for practice, and before they step on the floor for the game. If you're visually seeing yourself going through the moment when you were at your best, you're already going to kick your subconscious into feeling like you're in that moment. Literally, like 95% of our brain is neuroplasticity. It's what we tell it, the stories that we tell it. And that's why it can become scary on the other side, as pathological liars will tell themselves this story, and they'll start to believe it, because your brain is that powerful. So if you put your mind in the frame of, okay, here's where I was at my best, I can get there again before you step on, you're going to feel much more confident when you walk out there. And one thing that I spent time with Jordan and Kobe's mental coach, and what they did that separated themselves from everybody else, they would visually see themselves going through the game and seeing like every shot. See, just watching it. Like, so if you visually see it, you've already gone through it. And so it's much more natural when you go through it. But the big difference is they would also watch the game back again before they stepped out there. They'd watch it when something difficult happened, when a storm hit, when they turned the ball over, when they missed shots. And then how are they going to react to that? How are they going to overcome that storm? Because there's never a perfect game. There's never a perfect business plan. Like, there's a fire, a storm that's going to happen. And if you're already able to react to it, then you're going to be much more likely in real time.
Okay. So you mentioned business plan, right? Because we're talking about a lot of sports analogies right now, but and for athletes, the film, watching highlights, we have that to our disposal, right? That's our resume, essentially, right? But what about the person starting a new tech company, or any startup company for that matter? What are some steps you're telling that person as they're trying to develop confidence and belief in the product or the business that they're trying to grow?
Totally. Great question. So first and foremost, all confidence starts from self-awareness. What I mean by that is, if everything is taken away from you, if your business fails, are you going to be okay? Do you determine your self-worth on your business, or do you determine your self-worth on the person that God made you to be? You have to ask yourself that question. And it all starts with who. It doesn't start with why, it starts with who. Once you understand yourself first, then you can build from there. So somebody who hasn't been there before, like a rookie NBA player, or someone just starting a startup, you have to paint the visual picture of what it can be. So if you can't see where you want to go, you don't know where you're going. If you can't see, like, okay, this is what it's going to look like when my company's doing this, I can see literally the whole office, I can see us going IPO, I can see it. Like, if you don't visualize that, you won't get there. So you have to create a vision and you have to create a belief in a vision. Most people aren't able to do that because they have to believe. They can only believe when they see something, when they touch something. But the more that you can show somebody the vision and then show them, okay, well, here's the steps that it's going to take to get there. That's why having a coach is so important for you, because they guide you along those steps. You know what I mean? It's an example that I use, a tool. It's called the treasure chest. So when you're hunting for treasure, you have that map and there's the treasure, right? But there's always X's along the way to get to that treasure. That's how they all work in the movies. So you figure out, okay, what's my treasure? What do I want my company to be that I'm starting? I want it to be this valuation. I want to sell it this. I want this. You put that up there. That's like the big ultimate goal. And then the step below that, what's that going to look like? Well, I'm going to have to connect with different people in different spaces. These people. Okay, what's below that? Well, I'm going to have to make 80,000 phone calls this year. Well, what's below that? Okay, I'm going to have to literally go knock on doors to get the awareness out there. So if you build this plan back from the top, from your goal, people are more likely to be able to take it in chunks. It's really hard for people to go all macro. You have to go micro to macro. And the biggest thing that I see with athletes, with anybody, honestly, more so in the entrepreneur and the business space, is you get really excited. You have that unconfident confidence when you start off out of the gate, but after it gets hard, you fall into this. So you're going, you fall into this pit. And everybody falls to the pit at some point, whether it's a second-year NBA player who thought they were going to kill it, they had a great rookie year, you fall into the pit. Or it's a business person or entrepreneur who's killing it, boom. How do you deal with that pit? Most people give up. Most people suffer in the pit and they can't get out of it. But the people that are willing to embrace that pit, that suck moment, and know, like, okay, the longer that this coal, say you're a piece of coal, sits in this fire, the shinier the diamond is going to be on the other side. And most people will give up.
Yeah.
So I think when we go back to the first point of when I was given the points of what makes an all-star, there's a skill set called don't give upness. Literally, if you don't give up, if you keep going, you're going to learn along the way. Like I like to say, life is the analogy of a long hallway. And there's doors on each side. You go in one door, you learn something there. Okay, well, now you go to the next one and go to the next one. You're just continuing to learn as you go. And that's the process for an entrepreneur, for an athlete, for any type of business person.
Yeah, David, you kind of got to the question, started to get to the answer of the question I was going to ask, really about, we're talking about optimal mindset. We're talking about, these areas that you really had already pointed out and focused on. But what happens when people do fall into that? What are some recovery strategies or ideas, as we all do? I've actually talked about it. Like, man, pandemic was not fun in some ways for me. And, we were kind of wandering around like, what the hell's going on here? And everyone went through their own stuff. And so when you find yourself in a hole, what strategies or tactics do you encourage people to take, especially with that mindset, to get them back? And it can happen in a day. It can happen in a minute, but what is it?
Love it. Love it. And I love that you snapped your fingers there. That is a cue that I use. So when like we're talking about, everybody has their stuff, the pandemic, we're thinking about that. Everything's perspective. It literally, when you break it down, everything is perspective. Because, then they'll say, well, you're richer than 99% of people in the world. But yeah, we don't think that, but we all have our own stuff. But when you start to feel your mind telling yourself these negative thoughts, these self-defeating, self-doubt thoughts, the woe is me, snap your fingers. That's a cue. A cue is a trigger to your subconscious. Snap, the snap of the fingers, stop stands for stop. So you stop, you're aware of it. Notice, okay, you notice what's going on. Okay, what's the situation happening right now that is causing me to feel this way? You assess, assess. Okay, why is this happening? Like, why is this making me so upset? Like, why am I getting so frustrated with this? And then you pivot, and you slightly pivot, which is a small shift, not a big turn. Change is daunting. A small shift in your perspective that opens up a different perspective. So just having this cue of when these types of thoughts come into your mind is a really effective tool to have, because the hardest thing is when negativity comes in you is it overcomes you. Our natural inclination as people is we want these negative thoughts, these self-doubts will fill us unless we stop them. So you have to be aware, and you can snap your fingers, you can write it down, you can make a check mark in your phone, whatever your tracking system might be. But the most powerful thing to do in these pits that you fall in is go search somebody who's been there before. You're not the first one to go through what you're going through. There's tons of people. If you go on Google right now and search successful billionaires who went through struggles, you'll find tons of them. Literally go do the Kentucky Fried Chicken Colonel Sanders guy. Read his story and then think if you're going to be okay, like what he went through. Or go see Walt Disney. Yeah, he got fired from the Kansas City Star because he wasn't creative enough. Like Macy's went bankrupt 5 times. Like there's incredible just story after story after story. And when you see that, you're like, well, all right, I'm not the first one this has happened to. So it's the power of using somebody else's situation, because difficult situations don't happen to us to bring us down. It happens to us, through us, to be able to use for others. So any tough time that you're going through too, like you can attest to this, like anything as an athlete, if you hear another athlete who's been through this, you're more likely to listen to him than you are me and Nick telling you something, because you're like, man, he was in the trenches. I know he went through this and this is what happened. Mm-hmm. So if you have something relatable to be able to share with somebody else of a difficulty you went through, it's going to help them grow. So looking at that perspective, and it all comes down to it. So you have a mindset tool, you can go study other people. And then the biggest one for me too is, man, like is my faith in God and Jesus, knowing that like none of this honestly is as big a deal as I think it is. It won't matter in 5 years, probably, most likely, any of these things you're going through. 100 years from now, nobody's going to remember who you are. Why get so caught up in it, And knowing that it's this life of me having to produce this or do this or make this income, like it's not on me. I don't have to go through it alone. I know that I have Jesus. I know that I have God that I'm following, that it takes a ton of pressure off me.
Yeah. Robert. Yeah. Last question, man.
Yeah. We're talking a lot about, individual mentality, right? And overcoming some mental blockages and things like that, falling into a pit, climbing out of it. What about team situations? What about those who are in leadership situations and they have the responsibility of overseeing others? Their other people's success in, somewhat is dependent on them. What are some of the strategies that you tell guys and girls and folks who are in leadership positions?
As far as just like leadership tips on how to lead, or are you talking about how to lead through crisis?
Just in general, like I mentioned, we're talking about a lot of individuals. So entrepreneurs starting their own business, right? But those same entrepreneurs are going to have employees, right? Mm-hmm. You have to have a certain mindset and a certain way of going about your business in order to get the best out of the people you're working with.
Totally.
And so there can be some mental blockages there, right? Some confidence issues perhaps there, right? Am I doing right by the folks that I'm working with? Can I depend on my teammate here, et cetera? And so, what are some of the mental struggles maybe you've seen from a team standpoint in some ways that you can navigate that?
Yes. So let me give you a few here. The biggest one, number one by far, is when people in a company do not feel appreciated. That's the number one thing. Appreciation before any type of finances, bonuses. You have to make everyone feel like they are an important part of this team. If they don't, that's when this negativity starts to come up. You have to make them feel like they're important. One thing that my uncle does in Toronto, he always at the start of every practice, they have an elephant in the room, basically. So everybody feels comfortable with bringing any type of issue. They can say it out loud. It's a safe space that they've created. And another one is just making sure that you're coaching each person in their best role. So as a leader, you don't just, as a point guard, you don't just pass the ball. Great point guards don't pass the ball. they set their players up for their best position to succeed. So you coach players differently based on putting them in their specific role. So making sure everybody is appreciated, make sure players are in their role. And then one of the best tactics that I learned from Spoelstra, a good friend of mine for the Miami Heat, is he asks his players a lot of questions. He's very curious. So great leaders are always curious. Great leaders are not just telling you. Great leaders are asking questions. And why they're doing this is, one, like if I'm asking you a question, I'm really going to learn from you. He asks his players because the players are going through it. It's not like the coach knows exactly what they're going through out there. So one, he's going to get information that he needs. And two, it's putting ownership on you. If I say, hey, well, what are your goals out there this season? Like, what are your goals? And you're going to tell me, man, you're going to be the best defensive player. You're going to hustle all over the place. Like, that's what I want of you. So I'm trying to shape you into knowing what your role is. But two, you're taking ownership because you said that. See how the difference is? If I tell you to do that, you're probably like, well, whatever, you know. But if you tell me, then the ownership's on you. So,
You know,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, my bad. I was some just popped in my mind, and I know that we're kind of getting tight on time, but I was really curious about distractions. I think that's one topic we haven't hit yet, because as a professional athlete, naturally, when you first get drafted, there's a bunch of distractions that come from your family. Successful businessmen, right? Same thing. What are some of the techniques? And obviously, then you have your own distractions, right? You got so many things going on in your own mind. Sometimes we can't focus on one thing. What are some of the techniques that you teach for that? Eliminating distractions.
Great question. And I think distractions are what you make of it. So everything's a double-edged sword. If you say, hey, social media is a distraction, that's because you're scrolling through it and you're listening to the noise that everybody's saying. But if you're saying, hey, social media is a platform for me to spread my message and spread my word, and that's how you're going to use it. So just like a hammer is a great tool to build a house. One of the best tools to build a house. It's also one of the most brutal murder weapons if you use it that way. It's how you use your distractions. It's, hey, my family is a distraction. Okay, is it? Or you want to bring your kid to the gym so he can learn about hard work and just be around that. So you decide how you use your distractions, but it's how you bucket your time. It's on that person. If you're going to say, okay, well, here's my time for social media. I'm going to give myself 30 minutes a day, and here's the bucket. You have to create the schedule. You have to control your schedule, because if you don't, the distractions are always going to control you. And you have to make your decision. Okay, well, am I going to help family members out who come out of the woodwork and ask me? Are you or aren't you? If you don't know going into it, then you're going to be hit and miss all over the place. So you have to really set your boundaries early and decide, okay, this distraction, everything can be a distraction, but also most things, majority of things can also be a positive if you just use it the correct way.
Yeah. And Luis, we have one last question. Welcome to the conversation. What were you thinking and wanting to ask David before we're done here?
Hey, David. Yeah, this has been so good and so helpful on so many levels. My question would really be around another thing you might say to founders. One thing that we like to say here is that it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or if you're, if this is your fourth startup, you still need to stay fresh. You still need to learn. You still need to practice and be coached. What do you say to founders who are like so difficult, or don't find it's so difficult to find time to do that, or think that they don't, how am I going to fit in, getting coached by somebody or learning these mindset tips, or what do you do to get through somebody who's feeling resistance towards this, or, how do you get them to make that time and make that a priority?
Absolutely. So time is all what you make of it. We all have the same amount of time. It's not about time management. It's literally about intentionality and energy management. So this is a tool that I use with CEOs, businessmen. Create a circle, a pizza, literally a pizza. There's 24 slices in that. So there's an activity you can go through, and you will literally see how much time you actually have. So slice those up. Let's say 8 hours sleeping, 8 hours working, an hour commute, an hour working out. And then you continue to put all those pieces in there. And every time that I've done it, the people that have done it, come up with about 4 to 5 hours of complete free time where they were either watching Netflix or on social media. Seriously, it happens. And then people are like, oh, well, I actually do have more time. I'm just making that excuse. And then you create your piece of the ideal one where you want to spend that time. But the personal development and your continued learning is just like a workout. If you want to get in great shape and stay in great shape, like, you don't just work out a few times. You work out when you're in the NFL and then you don't work out again. Like, you're not going to stay in great shape. You have to continue to pour into yourself. So if you have resistance against it, you're not going to be successful. I'll just put it that way. And you just have to literally, you make the time for it. Even if it means, you know what, I'm going to wake up 30 minutes earlier. Like that 30 minutes, you add that up over 365 days. I don't know that quick math on that, but that's a lot of hours.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
David, I just want to thank you so much for joining us. This has been tremendous. What you just shared, mindset, whether you're an athlete, you're an entrepreneur, you're a founder, business owner, it was just incredible. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Take care.
Guys.
And so we've got the website there, davidnurse.com. You all check it out. Feel free to reach out. And hey, subscribe to the 3-pointer. Tell us about that real quick before we're done.
Oh, yeah, the 3-point newsletter. So every week, you go to my website, sign up right there. You're going to get 44 of my most powerful mindset tools sent directly to you. Then each week, I'm sending out a book that I'm reading, a podcast that I think is really valuable, and a mindset tool that I think can change the trajectory or the perspective that you have.
Perfect. Check that out, everyone. All right. Thank you so much, David. This has been a pleasure. We're going to pop you off. So enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Dude, I'm totally looking forward to getting his book. Like, after hearing all that stuff, I need to get in on that.
Man, that was incredible. That was great. Rob, what'd you think, man?
No, it was great. I thought it was good. It's always interesting talking to guys. They think, in that profession, because they just think from a different perspective,
Yeah.
And so it's really interesting to get some of those tidbits from him. But listen, I really appreciate you guys having me on the show. Unfortunately, I do have to drop a little early. I've got another appointment, but this was awesome. I can't wait for next week. I think we're in Seattle, right?
Well, next we do have a Seattle event, so we'll talk about that. But
Yes,
we'll see you there, man. And
right.
I'll catch up with you. Thank you so much, Rob, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Thank you, Rob.
Peace. All right. So, Luis, this is amazing. And hey, let's check in with our team over there in Houston. We're going to bring on.
Let's go live. Tonight's broadcast is from Houston. We're going to go to the pitch competition at the top of the hour, but we have city leader Oleg Lasiak here. I know I didn't say that perfectly, but Oleg, can you introduce yourself?
That was pretty good, Luis. That was pretty good. Thank you. We're very excited, super excited to be here, guys. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Luis. Thank you for starting this in Houston and helping us out. And thanks for connecting from Seattle. We actually have today is the Dynamo Houston playing with the Seattle Sounders. So it's coincidentally, there's a lot of people from your state over here in Houston. But I'm going to show you guys really quick the audience that we have. And then we're going to come back and I'll introduce you to a couple of the people in the room as well. So This is what we have going on. It might be really loud.
Bring it on.
Oh, man.
But we have a lot of networking going on.
Yeah.
A lot of networking, a lot of partying.
Oh, yeah. I get jealous when I see this, Oleg. I get jealous.
We got pizza, we got beers, we got networking. People are connecting as we speak.
Yeah, look at you.
And with that, I hope you get the ambience over there. But I want you guys to say hello to couple people that we have already in the room. You want to say hello?
Hi, I'm Sterling. I'm the CEO and founder of Lockbox. What we're doing is we're trying to create a hyper-local marketplace that enables more efficient deliveries for vendors and merchants, like farmers and people like that, so they can deliver directly to their consumers. That's me.
Awesome. Thanks, Sterling. Sterling actually signed up for the next one, so I'm pretty excited about him pitching next time. Also, we have a Q over here. I think he's also interested in pitching next time. Want to say hello?
Hey, what's going on?
Hello.
founder.
Hey, real quick, how did you hear about Founders Live Houston?
I heard through Oleg. He's a great salesman and promoter. He
Awesome.
told me that if I want to make it big, I need to show up at Founders Live and take some notes so that next time I know how to wow the world.
There you go. Well, excited to have you. Thanks for being here.
Awesome. Thanks, Q. We also have James over here, real quick.
Hey.
He's actually, I think you guys might have heard of Founders Institute. He's the director of the chapter here in Houston. So he joined us as well.
Hey, thanks. Great to see you, and welcome to Founders Live. And this is Center Stage, our pre-show. And hey, I can tell you, Luis and I are just a bit jealous that we're not sitting there with you in person.
Well, we appreciate you doing what you're doing, and thanks for the support.
You too.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you,
James. And we have our special guest from Dallas today.
Yes.
So,
hey, Founders Live Center Stage community. Thank you. Hey, Nick.
Yeah, but Jason.
It's so good. So good to see you, Jason. Hey, as you see, look at that. Founders Live partner code launch. We're so excited to have you as one of our North America partners. And Jason, give us a little bit of rundown and what's happening. What are you excited about? What should people be looking forward to with code launch coming not only in the state of Texas, but other parts of the country?
Yeah, so we're so proud to be a Founders Live partner this year. Thank you for that, Nick. And Code Launch gets software development done for early stage tech startups for free without taking any equity. So take a look at it. It's a traveling accelerator that we're taking to 3 cities this year. We've already done Houston here, which was a huge success. And we're doing Columbus August 25th. Startups can apply to that right now at codelaunch.com until June 16th. Then we're in DFW November 16th, and then back here in Houston, which we're going to announce tonight, March 2nd, headlining Houston Tech Rodeo.
Oh, that's such good news. Good news. And hey, this is your second Founders Live Houston. I know that you attended the other one. Again, we're jealous. Hey, Luis, what are your thoughts real quick?
Well, it's just so cool to have Code Launch in the house. And we know you've got Columbus coming up and Houston eventually, you're traveling all over. It's a really cool service. So yeah, thanks for joining us. And we hope you love the event. Can't wait to hear your feedback.
Hey, I'm glad I'm not crashing it like last time. Now I'm an actual partner. So
good. Well, thank you so much.
No, that was awesome. How that's where the connections are happening, right? Last time you just popped into our event, and now we're collaborating, Jason. So great to have you as well. We actually have a room start to fill up as we speak, gentlemen. So
awesome. Well, yeah. So Oleg, we're gonna let you be for a sec. We'll keep watching the camera. We're gonna do some previews of the founders that are gonna pitch, and then we'll pull you back on in about 12 to 15 minutes. Okay.
That sounds great. Guys. Yeah, we'll talk to you in a bit.
All right. Oh man, just getting jealous over here, man. How cool is that? How cool is that?
It's so cool. It's Founders Live events in person. Like I say it all the time, it's the best way to experience Founders Live. It's how we all started, and there's just something special in that experience. And every time we see it happening, no matter where it is in the world that we drop into, I want to be there, and because I know what it's like, and I know how fun it is to be there, and just meeting other people in the community, and it's just something special that happens. And Nick, you said something really cool the other day. We were having a Founders Live city leader meeting, and you said something special happens at every single Founders Live. It's just how it works out. And I agree. I've seen it happen. I've seen people's lives be affected. At the very least, the presenters, something changes in them when they pitch at a Founders Live event in front of their community and share their vision to the world. It makes me feel really good to be able to help bring that message to everybody else, wherever they're viewing from. So yeah, but if you can be there for sure, it is the thing to do.
Yeah, yeah. And hey, we have another segment coming up, and we are going
Oh
to
yeah.
check out our presenters. And the first presenter, we're going to do a bit of we're going to review what's going on here with our presenters. This first one is Pronto, and we're so excited to really learn about Pronto, which is a mobile app marketplace for cleaning services reinvented as B2B SaaS subscription model for small businesses to support the independent cleaning professionals. We've got Pronto here. Luis, what's your first you hear that pitch, you hear that one sentence description. Are you excited? What do you think?
Yeah, so this goes into a very common startup model where it's the Uber for X, right? And we had somebody who appeared in Founders Live Primetime last year, Clean, and she did really well. She had a similar thing. So I'm looking to see what's different here. They already seem to differentiate by having a subscription model versus maybe cleaning on demand. Maybe they do both. It's either way, there's a lot of room for competition. Maybe we have the Uber and the Lyft of cleaning going on here, but I'm excited to see what kind of spin they put on this model.
Yeah, me too. And given the time, we're gonna slide through these fairly quickly, but all I'll say is, I'm hearing and seeing a number of these concepts, and the cleaning industry has a lot of innovation to be done around it, and I'm excited to see what happens on that. So here we are. Let's go with our next one. We have EYF, financial education for high school and college students. We have EYF here, and as we look at this, we go through the websites here, everyone. So there's not a ton that's available, not a lot that's available on this website here yet. But when you look at Luis, what hits you when you hear about helping especially younger individuals getting into their adult life, financial education?
Yeah, really important. Sometimes we hear a lot of founders who are really working on the product and have a great idea, and their team's on stuff, and they haven't necessarily gotten to the marketing, public facing side of things. So as we do the research here, there's not a whole lot to go on, but the premise is really interesting. It falls into those things that perhaps should be taught a lot more in high school and in college about real world situations. People wonder about the relevance of algebra. I know that's more of a mental workout thing, but kids need to know, how to pay a credit card, how to do. They just need financial literacy, and we don't see a lot of solutions aimed at kids, much less adults. So getting them started young sounds like a really cool idea.
Yeah, I'll just say this: it's needed. There's never too much financial education, and it's never too early to really help people understand that. So I give them a huge shout out credit wise. All right, next presenter that we're going to hear from is Rivet. Rivet unifies data in the upstream oil and gas space by unifying data and streaming from the edge directly to client clouds. Let's take a look at Rivet here. And here we are, everyone. There we are, Rivet. All right, I'm going to jump in here and say, this is another industry that continually could use, and this is the website here, so we'll just kind of scroll through it. But I think the window's a little different size, so there's a little bit of I don't know if some things bleed off the edge, but this industry continually is needing improvement with technology, cloud-based data services, continual and even streaming or full-time data and access to all that. I'm not an expert in the oil and gas industry for sure. I know a lot of people are down in that Texas area. So sounds interesting. This is one where I would say, Luis, got to hear the pitch before I'd make a real statement. Real quick on your end.
Yeah. For me, same thing, not an expert in this area, but it is fascinating to see companies with niche industry knowledge, really dive into answering a very specific need within that niche industry. So niche within a niche, they got to know their audience really well. I'm sure they do. And, it's cool to see high tech coming to an old school geological based industry.
Yeah. So, hey, it looks like Oleg's getting started. So we're going to remove this here, and we're going to
see where we are in the
we're going to unmute and see where they are.
So feel free to share it. Feel free to share the YouTube link with those friends, startup friends that were not able to join us. But I'd like to take a minute and tell you a little bit about Founders Live, and as well we'll play you a little video of our founders, Nick Hughes. So at Founders Live, we're all about inspiration, education, and entertainment. And I'll have Owen here, please. Can we play a video of Nick that talks a little bit more about Founders Live?
Oh, Luis, we're gonna see the video. Here we go.
We know this one pretty well.
You're gonna see the video, everyone. And Luis, hey, I'm gonna drop us off, and for everyone watching, we're gonna continue to show back up on the screen, but we're gonna leave this to you right now, and we'll pop back on when it's appropriate.
Start your next project. We see an opportunity to bring the resources, capital, and connections to the people that need it and the people that can use it, no matter where they live in the world. My honest opinion is, no matter what the economic climate is in the world, Founders Live can be important. In the good times, when it's booming, we're here to help grow companies and have them access capital that's flowing around the world, and really be a fun, great event and global platform that powers entrepreneurship. In the tough times, we actually think we can be the answer, given the fact that if people are actually getting laid off and unemployment starts rising, well, the choice to start their own business is front and center, and Founders Live is right there to help them grow. I believe the secret sauce of Founders Live lies in the combination of these three words: inspiration, education, and entertainment. Inspiration is rooted in the energy and the passion that every single attendee has. The education is the information that we're bringing to people that they otherwise couldn't find. Founders Live Online helps solve entrepreneurs' daily challenges. If you have a question that you're just wondering, like, I don't know what to do here, you simply need to just type it into Founders Live, and someone else will answer it right there for you. And the entertainment is the fun. We believe business should be fun, we believe it should be casual, and we believe it should be inspirational. Founders Live is the perfect place for you to connect with other entrepreneurs and to be inspired.
Thank you, Owen. So also, guys, we have two ways that you could get engaged with Founders Live, whether it's online or offline. We have actually just launched 2 different levels of membership. So whether you're a startup, maybe you're a mentor, or somebody just interested and want to get involved in our startup ecosystem, you should definitely spend some time and check it out. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about our venue tonight. So we're going to have 5 founders. They're going to pitch, and it's 99 seconds only. And if I say 99 seconds, it's literally 99 seconds. I will cut them off if they try to go over. And for those of you who were here last time, you know this, right? So then we're going to give them about 4 or 5 minutes for Q&A. And you guys, actually, the audience are going to be the judge, right? So we're going to pull up the QR code, we're going to scan it, and we're going to vote for the winner. As well, we're going to drop the link for our YouTube, people who are watching us on YouTube, so they can vote as well. So with that being said, so like I said, we're in over 90 cities right now and growing. If you know anybody who wants to launch this in other cities, please let us know. Reach out. We're expanding to other cities as well. But I want to also talk to you about our 5 core values at Founders Live. So first one is respectful authenticity. What do we mean by that? We include everybody, and I mean literally everyone. Doesn't matter what background you come from, what level of funding you have. If you don't have any funding, like last time we had the founders from university, we had founders from Greentown Labs, from the ION, from Canon. We want to bring community together, and we want to create an opportunity for everybody. So another one is, number 2 is actually gathered around the campfire.
We want to create campfire-like conversation. And, like we have a pitches downstairs on the big stage where it's really cool and official, but I think real magic happens, when you have more kind of like a fire chat, when it's a friends and founders there telling their story and telling how they see the future, right? How their vision is. So now the third one is open the door. Do nice things for people without expecting anything in return. I think that one is pretty self-explanatory. And another one is business equals fun. So, a lot of us are actually quitting our corporate jobs to join startups. So we might as well, let's keep it fun, right? Like let's have fun while doing business, right? Let's do it on our own terms and rules. And we added the new one, the fifth core value, and it's climate consciousness. What we mean by that is we encourage everybody to do business in a climate conscious manner, and we want to lead it by example as well. So, and with that, I'd like to thank our sponsor for tonight. So we have a AWS providing our founders with the credits. We have a Google for Startups also providing us credits. Honeycomb is helping us with a lot of technical things. We have a St. Arnold providing cold beers. If I say something inappropriate, I mean I had too many of those. But with that being said, please enjoy responsibly. And we have actually one of our newest sponsor as well tonight, and it's Ayugo. And I have to read this a little bit. So Ayugo is a tech-enabled accounting service company where technology meets experience. With Ayugo, founders and startups can offload their books, taxes, accounting, crypto reconciliation, CFO services, budgeting, R&D tax credits, and more to experts. They streamline processes, allow you to run your business while they ensure your business, finances, and prepare to support your growth. Please reach out to me so I can put you in contact with Angie Hoffer for your accounting needs, guys. And we also have one thing I didn't mention, guys. Tonight, the winner gets $10,000 in AWS credits. And instead, we also have one of our partners in the room today, Jason Tyler, with the Code Lunch. And I'd like for him to say a couple of words as well. Please welcome Jason.
Thank you, everybody. Nice to be here in town and see some of the Code Launch family that I met when we had Code Launch here March 30th, the first Code Launch in Houston, which was attended by 628 people and may, in fact, be the largest startup event that's ever happened in Houston. And and the inspiration for Joey Sanchez to try to top us. So we're happy to help him do that. And then we actually have a big announcement that we actually already have decided to come back to Houston, and Code Launch Houston 2023 will be on Thursday, March 2nd, and we will be headlining Houston Tech Rodeo as a partner of theirs. So,
yeah.
Yeah, sure. And so I'll show you a couple of slides. So the next event, if you don't know what Code Launch is, it's a traveling seed accelerator competition that gets the finalists, who are the startups that become the finalists. They get a professional software development team from groups like Owens, Axon Collective, who was a hackathon team sponsor for Code Launch Houston, and Blue People, who were also here, and they were also a sponsor, and Tech Rebel, and Improving, and some others. And so our next event is actually in Ohio, in Columbus, and it's on August 25th, and we're taking applications for it right now. So if you go to codelaunch.com and you're a startup, it's simple. You put a pitch deck in there and code-ready mockups. You answer a bunch of questions, and you're competing in Code Launch for Ohio. Our deadline for that is June 16th, and I'm pretty sure this QR code, which will come up at the end too, just for a second, will get you straight to the apply page for Ohio. We also want to say hi to our winners, Trucks, who is here. There they are. Trucks won Code Launch, and really awesome. It was an incredible thing to see. This was the crowd. You didn't believe me. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Code Launch is a rock and roll startup show. Consistent with Founders Live, we like to have fun and do business and get some startups launched. And there they are, the winners, celebrating Trucks here from Houston, Texas. And so congratulations again to us. And our goal is to get startups accelerated. And I can say probably that we did that with trucks as they were immediately suited and pursued by Capital Factory and are now in the Capital Factory Acceleration Program. So congrats, that's a perfect outcome for us. And just so you know, Codelaunch does not take any equity or cash from startups. So you can compete, go all the way through the process, win, be on stage like trucks, go into whatever accelerator, get funded, close the seed round. We're not interested in your equity or your dollars. We're just trying to help you. Thank you again, Xpero, Tech Rebel, Axon, Softtech, Blue People, and of course, our parent company is Improving. So Improving will always have a team in every code launch, and we produce them in improving markets, which there's about 16 of those in North America. So I have my work cut out for me. And I want to say thank you to my one teammate that I have, Jesse Sewell. This guy is every creative division and supports us everywhere we go. So, like I said, March 2nd, we'll be back. Save the day for that. Look for us. We'll be all over the place, January, February, March. You'll be able to escape it. And so, if you want to sign up for our newsletter, right QR code. If you want to apply, left QR code. Thank you very much. Thank you, Oleg.
All right, guys. And so tonight, it's a showtime. So tonight we have, and actually founders, please come up for the stage. We'll take a little photo with you as well. So we have tonight Christine Reynolds, Tarun Grishin, Grant Matkins, John Kalpayan, and Alan Perez. Let's give them a round of applause. Guys, please come up. We'll just do a really quick photo. Excuse me. Now we'll do one at the end as well with the whole audience as well.
Smile.
Cheese.
Just pick one.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. And we have a first one to pitch. It's going to be Christine Reynolds with Drink Kicks. Drink Kicks, please. Christine, please. The floor is yours. I'll say 3, 2, 1, and the timer goes on. Let's see. 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome to Drink Kicks, the original soul juice. We are a health and wellness tech startup with a sneaker twist. I am Christine, and I'm one of the co-founders of the world's first Drink First. So Drink Kicks has a line of fresh pressed juice that is farm to bottle in 48 hours. We're big on combining the digital with the physical. So on our drink, you will find a QR code that takes you to our app, Sneak Earth. You'll be able to grow soul seedlings that grow sneaker-themed fruits and vegetables. You'll get rewarded for walking and interacting with your environment. You'll earn drink coins, and you'll take your digital produce and your drink coins and create virtual sneakers. Now, as I told you, we're about combining the digital and the physical, and you need fresh kicks for your fresh health. So we take it one step further, and we're going to create physical shoes in the real world made out of our entire product, the bottle, the label, and the recycled fruit skins. We're at the intersection of media, commerce, food and beverage, and cultural moments. This is our entire team, and always remember, drink fresh.
Does anybody have a questions? This is a good time to ask.
Yes.
One thing I would want to mention, you could be first. We also, since we're streamlining this, please be loud so this camera over here could pick it up. I think you're close enough, so you could probably ask your question. But then if somebody's from the back can ask question, if you could maybe come up from the way our audience online could hear as well. Yeah.
Great job. My question is, you mentioned the recycling component of taking the plastic container. What will happen to it after it is disposed of?
So we are hoping, our long-term game is to have Drink Kicks branded receptacles and partner with colleges and have that all brought to a location, and we'll be able to reuse that. Our end game, 10-year game plan is to literally have people going out on a Saturday, do a trash cleanup, go to one of our partners, drop it off at the factory, and come back in a month and get their shoes.
Thank you.
With the virtual currency and the virtual rewards, sounds a lot like getting into blockchain and NFTs. Is that the route you were going, or are you staying with more of a centralized model?
We want to be very eco-friendly, so we're looking, considering yes blockchain, but want to look at one that is going to use less energy, looking towards avalanche, and yes, NFT is definitely that route. It's only like says it got 99 seconds, so I can go all the way into it. But yeah, that's definitely a route we want to leverage blockchain and the global economy.
Also, if you could come to the front, that way we everybody could hear you as well on the YouTube. If you stand right here, I think it will be perfect.
All right.
What's your question?
My question is, so let's say that someone buys the bottle. How are you going to make sure that they do, scan the code and then get to play it? What if someone just takes a drink and then, just buys it instead of joining your sneaker program?
Definitely. Well, so we see ourselves having two target markets. So, we have our juice, which I don't expect a 12-year-old to be like, Mom, can you go buy me this juice? So our app is more targeted towards the younger generation, getting outside, exercising. And then we have people who are, consistent juice drinkers. So our goal is to combine those two separate markets and build a community around that. So it's okay if you don't drink the juice. You can still download the app and interact, but there will be special incentives in the app for people who drink the juice. And remember, we're a sneaker company. So we hope to start doing exclusive drops and all these different things to encourage people to get the juice to be able to have those benefits.
All right, let's do this one.
Why wouldn't you just partner with current juice companies that already have the following?
Could you please say it loudly so our audience can hear as well?
Why wouldn't you just partner with current juice companies that already have the following?
We actually are partners with Little West out of California.
Okay. How big is their following
though? They are private label to, I believe last time I checked, they had over 300 million followers and they actually sold for $300 million too.
We had Hector over there, please.
Yeah, so
please, all right. Help me out.
Great concept. Talk about the drink. I thought you said that it was going to be a 48-hour turnaround from production to just talk about that and the actual product. So
yes, everything is locally sourced in California. So we have 10 flavors. Like I said, we partner with Little West. So it is exactly more than 48 hours from when it is harvested. They go there themselves, they handpick, they select, and in 48 hours it is pressed and it is in the bottle. So everything is fresh.
We'll take a last question. Let's do this one here because Miles, you already asked one. So you guys, welcome to stay and hang out, connect with each other on LinkedIn, and that's all we have this room about. But please, if you could step out so it's everybody could hear. Thank you.
Really two questions. The one saying model is 48 hours. It's in the bottle. How long is it going to take you to deliver it to, New York City, for example, one of the friendliest cities? They're probably going to go after this. So it's probably going to take another 2 days to deliver. Does the company partner up doing delivery, or are you going to be doing delivery? And then you talk about making sneakers. Are you going to be making sneakers and ramping up all the manufacturing process of it? Or are you going to partner up with, I don't know, Nike or whoever that is? And then actually third one to follow up. So what is your business model talking about? How much VC money you need to get to the break-even point?
That's what it is.
3 of them.
So first, when you asked about distribution, yes, it can survive 2 to 3 days. Right now, we are partnering with them for our distribution. As we grow, we will find our own distribution. But yes, and we are unique in that we do have a 90-day shelf life unopened. No juice company has that. That's part of why we're working as a partner. For your sneaker question, again, that is something we partner with. There's actually a local company here in Houston. I don't know if you guys know this. They do upcycle and make sustainable shoes out of different products. So again, partnering with that, and highly suggest you guys go on YouTube and watch Nike. They made shoes out of coral and all these other various items. So there are a lot of companies in the market doing that. So I actually want to partner with them. And then last question, remind me.
What is your break-even? How much VC money do you need to get to the break-even point?
That's a tough question, just because we are still in our MVP development. So we have a
very early stages. Yeah. But let's give a round of applause for Christine. Great job.
So we have the next one is up is Darun with Spark Spaces.
Yeah.
Let's give him a round of applause. No, so we have your slide. We have your slide.
Okay.
Okay. Floor is yours, so I'll give you 3 seconds countdown.
3, 2, 1, let's go. Hi, my name is Drew, and I am the CEO and co-founder at Spark Spaces. And what we're doing is we are building a really resilient EV charging network, which produces a lot of data for utilities and other entities. So I had a chance to own an EV from 2017 to 2021. And I've interacted with a bunch of these different situations where my car died on Westheimer, my car died at 3 a.m. on Alabama. And so that's my whole push to where I wanted to build a system to where I could park into any parking spot and plug in. This is the type of hardware that is supplying the big build out, and we'll have the ability to put 2 40-volt outlets within the entire city. Everyone has their own cables to plug in. We generate data from those charging points, and we put it in a really put together impact report. And so here are the types of data sets that we collect from types of EVs average fluctuations. And the process is very simple. Anywhere where there's power, we can plug in. And so that's Spark Spaces, and we're really looking forward to answering your questions. Thank you.
Awesome. Great job, under the time. Perfect. Yeah, so guys, the same drill. If you want to ask a question, it would be great if you could step out that way. Our live audience can hear your question. Any questions in the room?
Yes.
Miles?
How are you setting up metering? If you're plugging in anywhere, there's got to be a way to tokenize that because that energy is coming from somebody's account. So how are you reconciling?
Yeah, so all of our metering is done at the point of the breaker. So all of our IoT devices have meter, they could manage our energy usage within the IoT devices. So we're taking care of it on that part.
Any more questions? Jason.
So the physical device that you're contemplating building this around already exists? You have prototypes that are proven?
Exactly. So we are just using 2 regular standardized 240-volt outlets and putting that in the city, and EV drivers have their own cable to plug in. And so we've eradicated the need for big, expensive, bulky hardware.
Awesome. We had the gentleman over there. If you could come out, that would be awesome. Thank you so much.
So I'm thinking with, a lot of utilities encouraging people to go into EVs. There's a lot of programs out there where companies are now investing in EV charging ports. How are you planning on kind of gaining market share when these companies have so much money that they're putting into, partnering with businesses? And
Sure. So we actually have a really reasonable mechanism to tell people that we will take care of the first outlet, and then they'll pay, because all they're doing is installing outlets, so it's not heavy capital intensive. The only capital intensive part is a point at which we run the outlet from the outlet to the breaker point. And that's where we're trying to make sure that we can help finance that process. And so we go directly to restaurants. So 20% of my team are hospitality professionals. And so at the end of the day, we know what the restaurant owner needs, the business owner needs, and we're able to come into their paradigm and provide a really equitable solution.
What's the incentive for business owners or restaurants or whoever to put in an outlet?
Sure.
And then who's going to finance this infrastructure for the initial, because there's some initial costs?
Yeah. So,
and then like the other question is like, what's the average distance that do you know that it's feasible to do this, where it's close access to a parking spot? So what's the, availabilities of those spots with electrical outlets? And the last question is, why did you put that? I'm really interested in business.
You guys should probably hang out. We're trying to keep it to like 1 question per person.
Sure.
So
those three.
But you guys should connect on LinkedIn.
I will. So the question that I'll cover right now is a feasibility part for restaurants. So the breaker pucks at a lot of small restaurants are located next to parking locations. And so we're seeing roughly 10 feet to be equitable for us to kind of take that whole entire financing off their shoulders. Does it answer that one question?
Yeah, but why would I give you that spot? If I'm using that spot,
so
what's the benefit?
So we're tying it into the reservation, so they can, when they schedule the reservation, they can schedule that parking spot to charge it.
Yeah, but the parking spot has a value to it, so there's some cost, that's
right. So
there has to be an incentive for me to give you that spot.
So you're attracting EV drivers. Cool. We've given you that incentive. Like, end of story. Okay, cool.
Last question, guys. Let's do one.
You mentioned that it's kind of, just an outlet. Are you worried that that could be replicable? Like someone could actually copy you? You would create some competition pretty easily?
We see competition as really healthy for us. The competition that we're dealing with right now are charging station companies that buy stuff from across the pond or somewhere else, rebranded it as their own and sell it. But on the outlet front, because we have a really intricate network that we're building, I really don't care for the competition, to be frank with you, because we're doing something that's really unique, and EV drivers need what we need. So, cool. Thanks.
Thank you guys so much. Let's give a round of applause for the next one up is Brent Watkins with UIF. Let's give a round of applause. So I'm going to count down. The floor is yours.
All right, let's go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. All right, hello guys. My name is Grant Watkins, founder and CEO of EYF. All right, thanks for earning your freedom, because our goal is to give you the financial education the school never gave you. So here's the problem that we're trying to solve right now. Wages are stagnant. Inflation has hit 40-year highs. So the average American has $6,000 in credit card debt and $90,000 overall, including student loans. Student debt is at a $1.6 trillion mark right now, which is larger than the entire economy of Canada. And home ownership is dismal for millennials and Gen Zers who are starting to get into the market. So how are we going to solve this? Through financial lessons in games, budgeting, and scholarships, internships, and jobs into the schools. Texas just made a requirement that 1 semester of your high school education is required to take a financial literacy course. So we are coming in to be that fill in the hole. All right, what's it called? Tried the traditional method with Dave Ramsey, Robert Kiyosaki, Tony Robbins. Great education, not so great platforms. Other great platforms for investing your money, no education. So I'm trying to bring in the gamified Duolingo approach to bring it all together under one umbrella. We're going to make money off CRA and ESG funding and grants, as well as the schools will pay us as they've been given money by the state to do it. Third-party affiliations such as banking connections and ad revenue from U of H, Rice, and other universities that want to partner up to advertise to our kids. And here's what it looks like.
Awesome. Let's give it All right, guys. Anybody have a question? If you have a question, please come up to the front and ask another question. Let's see. Patrick.
Yeah. So, question: are you selling into? Are you doing RFPs at the school district level, or how are you making your sales to the K through 12 schools?
So we're really aiming at the junior and senior and high school grades, because that's right as they're getting their first car, getting their first job, really starting to actually handle money themselves, and they can actually apply these lessons. But that's also kind of where you have to take the class as well, so it helps. How we're getting paid from it, I think you said, from these schools. So they have been a lot of money by the state, but also it depends school to school. Whereas HISD, the schools we're working with, we have to go principal by principal. Galveston, they've only got one high school, so the entire ISD is under our umbrella now. But then there's like Klein, who they're kind of pushing the 1 semester cost onto the parents, and then Spring Branch ISD, they're taking care of it as well as a whole. So every ISD is different. Funded by taxpayers.
Christine, I have a question over here. Christine, do you want?
Yeah. So what's your delivery model? And, is it something that's lasts a semester, or is it something you come in and just do one day, like old school junior achievement?
Okay. All online. I cannot scale myself, to reach all the kids in all the classes. So it's all going to be online, video, educational content, and games that we can give to the kids. A lot of school districts like HISD are now 1-to-1, what they're calling it. So every kid, whenever they start the school year, junior high and high school, they're all given a laptop. So they have full access to this anytime of the day, anytime they want. So.
Yeah, as you get wider adoption and other school districts, maybe other states, have you run into people wanting to check the content, I guess, not like vetting it, I guess, but standardization, you have to meet certain.
Oh, certain like state requirements. Yeah. So Texas has the TEAS test, and they're changing it from the math portion being, just regular algebra math. So now 20% of that is going to be financial-based math starting this next school year. So we do have to kind of align to make sure that we meet those requirements 100%. That does take up a portion of it, and we have to go through that math. But after that's taken care of, we kind of have free reign from the school districts to teach as much as we can. So it's very much a fine balance between cramming as much as we can into these kids when they're already overloaded with 7 other classes that semester. And how much can we teach them to give them a good kind of foundation for financial literacy that won't scare them away, but will actually get them interested in, hey, I'm going to be dealing with this the rest of my life. Like, I better learn this, focus more than Pythagoras theorem, So, yeah. All right, last question. Then. All right, let's do it.
Man, it sounds like you got go-to-market challenges here. So if you're pushing, your money's coming from state, and you're pushing that down, how are you going to get adoption from the kids for an app? How are they going to get excited about something that the state's pushing, or at least a school district?
Oh yeah, well, one, it's required. So 100%, no, I am really trying to work hard with all of our partners to make sure we're not just another textbook, another assignment that these kids are given. We are gamifying it so that you pass certain levels so that you unlock certain benefits, such as scholarships. We're working with like Terry Foundation and other programs around town, up to the Higher Houston Youth Program, which is Mayor Turner's program, to get kids into actual jobs. So there are real life incentives to accomplishing these. Like, yes, you do have to get it for a grade, but here's actually a good benefit of accomplishing it. Like, look forward to this, it's not just another number on a report card. So just get it. Not just a grade, it's actually going to help you in life. So let's do the last one, Q.
How are you going to compete against established players who have deep connections?
Can you please come out? Everybody can hear. Thank you.
Like, do you realistically think you'll be able to compete with the established players who have deep connections, and then also they have like lobbying power and so on and so forth? Because they want that big chunk of change from the governments as well, right? So business is business, and it's always going to be certain ways. Like, how will you be able to, get this into the classrooms versus them getting in there first?
100%. No, there definitely is competition. Most of our competition, though, right now is actually nonprofits. So not a whole lot of for-profit competition. You would think like Pearson, they're one of the biggest competitors. They don't have any financial literacy products out right now. So if anything, build it up and maybe partner with them. If not, be acquired by them and work for them to get this out even more states. So, and just now, so before COVID, less than 12% of schools even had some sort of financial literacy class, but most of those were actually just macroeconomics, which that's great, but the cost of lumber in China doesn't really help me pay my bills, so what's it called? Yeah, it wasn't really required as of COVID. Now, Texas just passed that law, State Bill 1063, which makes it mandatory as of last year, and it goes into effect this coming fall. Florida just passed basically the same bill about 2 months ago. So it's starting to catch on. It's not a very fast-moving train, but it's going to catch some momentum soon. And if nothing else, like Texas and Florida already, it's pretty huge. So, yeah. Thank you, Grant. Let's give a round of applause.
That's a really great show. We have next one up is John Campfire with Rivet. Let's give a round of applause.
Yeah, we'll do the 3-second countdown. The floor is yours. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Meet Tom. He's a data scientist fresh out of college. He's excited. He just got a job with an oil and gas company. He's excited to go leverage analytics, AI, and ML to make the industry safer and more efficient. He's excited to work in a multi-trillion-dollar industry. What Tom doesn't know is that oil and gas data is messy, missing, and inefficient. There are effectively no data standards. Tom can't believe these huge innovative companies are still emailing raw data sets back and forth or tracking inventory in spreadsheets and Slack channels. This is real. He also doesn't know that he's going to spend 80% of his time finding, fixing, and structuring his data instead of using AI and ML. Fortunately, he found Rivet. a hardware as a service solution that solves his data problems for him by putting all the pieces of the puzzle together. They acquire the data on their edge device, where they standardize, structure, synchronize, and securely deliver it directly to their cloud in a single unified data set. Tom loves Rivet because it solves his data problem, allowing him to focus on what he loves, leveraging data, not fixing it. He can't wait to tell his boss that they're 80% cheaper than the rest of the market solutions, while also being the most secure solution in the market. He's also not shocked that they have strong partner alliances, growing traction in the market, and an upcoming pilot, for their first upcoming paid pilot in June. He's not shocked because they're led by a team with over 40 years of experience in the energy tech space. They're completely bootstrapped with no debt and 100% of the company.
Any questions in the audience? Please come out to the front.
Okay, cool.
All right, we have one.
So in terms of actually like restructuring that data and sending it out so that's like easier to analyze and generate like leads from it, what do you guys actually do? Like what's your intermediary service?
Yeah, so we are an edge or hardware as a service solution. So we have an edge device. We install it on the different devices. The OFL does have the benefit that most things are already monitored or outfitted with sensors. The problem is, as you can see in this slide, that there's dozens of different vendors that are all generating their own unique data sets and their own unique formats and delivering them in an incredibly ridiculous variety of ways. And so what we do is we take that on all of our edge devices, we structure it, we map it, we have our own data standard that it'll always be delivered in, and then the client can map it and do whatever they want.
Yeah, I have a question.
So your client are these oil and gas companies, correct?
Oil and gas companies as well as the service companies that are providing the
Awesome, awesome. And how are you going to present this to them, like to get them to want this software?
So that we explicitly do not have a cloud platform or a software. All of the other competition in the market is focused on what to do with the data. So they all have these cloud platforms with AI and ML, and a lot of them have stalled or plateaued because they realize that the data that they're feeding is junk and it's not very effective and it's expensive. A lot of our target market specifically is large oil and gas companies that have data science teams. They have their own cloud. They have their own software licenses to Spotfire, Power BI, et cetera. All they want is structured, reliable data.
All right, any more questions? No, we have one then.
It's probably more of a comment. I mean, you're focusing on oil and gas because we're in Houston, but I'm coming from mining industry.
Maybe you want to come
Sure.
on. Thank you.
I mean, it seems like you're talking about oil and gas because in Houston, coming from mining industry, cement mostly, same issue. So open your eyes. I think you can go to construction. You can go to, my company work with a lot of engineering firms. Same problem. There's so many sources of different data.
For sure.
I mean, if it's working for oil and gas, I think you can go anywhere else.
We're focusing on oil and gas initially because we all have oil and gas backgrounds. So,
All right.
but yeah, there's absolutely huge market potential, not just in oil and gas, mining, manufacturing, everybody else.
Yeah, you guys can connect. This is all this room is
Anytime.
about. Yeah. Let's give John a round of applause.
And we have last but not least is Alan Perez with Pronto. Let's give a round of applause for Alan.
So you know the drill. I'll give you 3 seconds. Count down.
Okay.
Get through. 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Alan, and I founded Pronto because I'm a hospitality professional that believes even in a tech-driven world, one should be able to easily find and book a home cleaner without losing the full hospitality experience inherent in a service-based business. So in order to find a way to accomplish this, I literally got my hands dirty cleaning homes all over LA using a popular on-demand cleaning app. So I saw firsthand good and bad business practices. The best lesson I think I got was I saw how a flawed commission-based revenue model directly led to discouraging users and clients from communicating and collaborating. So to put people first while building a sustainable business, I reformulated the on-demand service model as a B2B SaaS subscription service for Pronto. And with this, Pronto will serve and support independent cleaning professionals by promoting their personal brand, because hospitality doesn't come from an app or a company. It comes from individuals. So Pronto itself is a mobile marketplace as well as a small business service for freelance cleaning professionals. And for $250 a month, they can use the app to find and keep regular clients because our focus is on customer relationship management. But by providing, servicing, and replenishing of equipment in a mobile cleaning kit, we actually take the difficulty and stress out of self-employment, making it available to any one of the 3 million different maids, housekeepers, and janitors all over the cleaning services industry, which is one of the fastest growing in the US. So we will provide for that by breaking down the barriers to entry for entrepreneurship. So let me ask you guys, if your personal home cleaner worked for themselves happily, would you work
Time.
would you use Pronto?
Yes. And I didn't want to cut you off because you were the only one I had to cut you off. So. Oh yeah, please. Yeah,
We gotta
Kevin.
break the streak for today.
Kevin,
Damn
that's
good,
awesome.
damn good pitch, man. So I would use it. I would use it. It's really good. And I love that you got in there. But man, marketing and demand gen and creating that market is the number one challenge. Getting people to know what Pronto is.
Yeah.
How are you going to get this to market to where people know how to support that very high bar for these professionals at $250 a month?
Yeah. Well, that's one of the hardest things. Thankfully, we are focused more on profit more than growth. The average, on-demand cleaning service provider, they're just a growth-based business because they're a commission model. They want to get as many users as possible. Pronto itself is designed to be focused and profitable in a niche market. So let's just say Houston, we want to saturate this market. We don't need to get 1 million users just to earn profitability. We are more of a hybrid-based model, similar to a hybrid base between a brick and mortar store and a tech-based business. So early on, gaining early traction, we can work with nonprofit organizations. One in particular here in Houston works specifically with the Hispanic community, and we can work with them for early employment for people who may not have the business acumen or the ingenuity to want to break out and work for themselves. Well, we can provide the tools and services they need quick and early on to be able to break out into self-employment for a very cheap cost, like $250 a month. You couldn't do that on your own for that price.
James.
So you have a marketplace that you're building.
Yes, it is a mobile marketplace.
So as a marketplace, how have you tested your go-to-market strategies on both your end client, which is the homeowner or business, and your cleaners, and collecting those cleaners to be able to support that side of your model?
Well, our essentially go-to-market strategy, proving the proof of concept that is actually wanted for the customers, has been done by a lot of just direct interaction with cleaners, specifically in this space. So having one-on-one conversations with, hey, is this useful? Would you pay for this? Do you want to break out on your own and use this? But honestly, to validate the thing, it's been done before many times over. There have been a lot of companies, Uber for home cleaning essentially, have been trying to do this for 10 years. Unfortunately tried and failed, or the ones that are still alive have actually pivoted out of the cleaning services space because they say that it's not, the margins aren't as good.
Hence my question.
Yes.
We have a gentleman in the hat on the back. If you could come closer, what would be next?
So I used to run Amazon home cleaning. We had 200 million Prime members. We tried to basically create this, competing against Handy and Home Advisor and things like that.
Handy does partner with Amazon, man.
Ultimately failed. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
We got to $100 million in rev, but ultimately we shut it down for a number of reasons. To your point, the margins. I actually have that same question, but also what you're charging $200 something is a lot.
Yeah.
These home cleaners are typically the average operations 6 people. They're not large operations, 100 people. So I'm just curious how you decide who you market towards and onboard.
Let me answer that in a couple of different parts because your concern about margins is absolutely valid, but we do not use the same business model as, let's say, Handy, which is a commission-based revenue model. They actually run into issues with client, not allocation, but generating new clients and keeping the regular clients because they have such a chronic problem with platform leakage. When you deal with a business that favors repeat service, anytime you deal with a business that favors repeat service. You create a mobile platform with it. You're gonna get customers who use it say, hey, I like this person. Now we're just gonna work off platform. And that's where their margins are failing. And that's why, let's say, Handy has pivoted away from the space, because on their commission-based revenue model, they can't make the margins because people are simply leaving the platform. Okay, and I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. Remind me your second part of the question.
Second question is like the average planning company is like less than 6 people, so do they have the $200+ to pay them?
Okay, so as far as the price point goes, the $250 a month is something that we ran several models, financial models, to find the optimal price point that is affordable for the average person who doesn't have a lot of resources. Make it affordable to them at $250 a month. That's $3,000 a year. $3,000 a year is less money than you would spend having to procure your own equipment, having to service it, having to do your own marketing, et cetera, et cetera. If you're using a company like Handy, they're taking 15 to 30% of every single job. So it's already going to cost you 3 or 4 times as much. If you work for a regular brick and mortar cleaning company, you're making $12, maybe $14 an hour. So price, comparatively, the price is actually much more incentivized.
Also, we'll take the last question.
Okay. So I guess which market you already have launched this product in, and also number 2 is how do you deal with the service provider? Are they contractor or are they employees? I think a lot of companies they kind of have to deal with these kind of issues. So can you maybe
That's a fun point. To answer your first question, no, we have not launched. We have just branched from basically getting the business model, moving from ideation into actual prototype development. So developing our mobile prototype as well as our equipment kits, which this is based off of a prototype that I built and used myself. So this has been field tested. Not this fancy. Mine did not look this good. But I'm sorry, I got sidetracked again.
Number 2 is like are the service provider considered as employee or contractor?
Okay, so that's the really fun part.
Yeah.
So anytime you're dealing with a mobile platform to connect users with workers, you run into legal problems eventually. Anybody as big as Uber can get sued for oh hey, we think we're employees. Well, potentially we have that legal status. So you end up with a lot of legal troubles debating contractor versus employee. With a subscription revenue model, you don't run into that because we don't have an interest in whatever jobs that they're doing. We are a small business service to them. So we provide tools, we lease tools and services at a base flat rate. And so we are simply a small business service. We have no interest in whatever jobs that they do. They can work as much or as little as they want, and they keep essentially 100% of those profits. They only pay us the monthly subscription. So you avoid all of the legal issues of the debate between a contractor and or an employee. They are basically sole proprietors.
Can they be illegal?
I'm sorry?
Can they be illegal?
That's a touchy subject.
Yeah. All right. I think that was the last question. Okay. All right.
I just have it's basically LTV. Have you dug into LTV and sort of figured out what that looks like around this idea?
I'm sorry?
LTV.
What's LTV?
What is LTV?
Lifetime value.
Lifetime value.
Oh, lifetime value. Digging into the nitty-gritty of that, I couldn't say, but we have ran financial models as large as 10 years out, showing that our profit margins versus, let's say, a brick and mortar store that makes basically between 10 and 32% profit margins, where we can do it for as our financial models predict 35 to 52% on average profit margins. So our lifetime value over the long term after our initial growth periods, because the capital intensive part is developing the kits. Once the initial growth phase is actually initiated, we have a consistent revenue stream, consistent and predictable revenue stream. So we're looking at as high as 52, maybe even 55% profit margin, where hell, we can even use that to branch out into different, more specific cleaning services, car detailing, window washing, carpet cleaning, etc.
All right, guys, let's give a round of applause.
Thank you guys all so much. And now we're jumping into the most exciting part. So get your phones ready, please. And we're going to scan this QR code and select the winner. We're going to allow for about, I would say 7 to 10 minutes. So while playing some nice music for you, feel free to connect with another on LinkedIn. Just introduce yourself to the person on the left or right. Thank you.
All right, Luis.
Yeah.
Man, what do you think on that? What are your initial thoughts on those pitches tonight?
Great job by all the presenters. We had a really nice, diverse mix of presenters tonight too, in terms of what kind of industries they were in and what kind of specialties they had. But one thing they all had in common is they did a good job with their pitches. They were all nice degree of expertise there.
Yeah, I agree, man. And when we went through in the center stage preview show and we previewed some of these, we didn't get to all of them.
Yeah,
but
they started a little bit earlier than we were expecting.
Yeah, they got going, right? Yeah, they got going, and we jumped right in. So, man, I'm gonna say that So I think we said this on the pre-show. There's been a number of concepts, and you just heard. Look, Amazon built a concept around more of a marketplace for cleaners and in this whole entire industry. We had one of our winners last year that went to the Founders Live primetime event was Clean, a female founder out of Phoenix, and she's still building great company and it's exciting. So look, to me, that shows that there's a need in the market. Hey, we heard the comment, Amazon didn't achieve it, but you know what? Amazon can't do everything. So I believe that someone is going to nail this industry. So I think Pronto possibly in the lead, possibly in just from clearly there's a need in the market and someone wants to build that marketplace.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective too for founders to hear. Just because Amazon fails at it doesn't mean you can't succeed. Some certain things are just too micro or too whatever for a big company to be able to handle, but that's the perfect opportunity for somebody small, perhaps somebody who knows the business really well, who has the right kind of angle and tenacity to stay after a market that Amazon just can't sweep with broad strokes.
Yeah. I want to bring up Drink Kicks. I know that this is something, an industry that you really are love. It's creative, it's innovative. What were your thoughts on that pitch and really the vision around that?
Well, it's exciting to see stuff like that. People thinking around, how can we tap into something that involves a new technology, something that involves physical activity, something that involves CPG, consumer packaged goods. There's sneaker wear, there's digital coin earning. There's a whole lot of stuff going on here, which is really fun. One thing that happens with this, especially with new emerging technologies, sometimes the more steps you have in something like this, and there are a lot in this product, sometimes the complication makes people opt out because they're already trying to grasp some new concepts. And then, but when there's multiple new concepts lined up and it's all part of a chain of making things happen, sometimes people bail out on that. At least, the common person does. But on the other side of it, you're really appealing to a segment of the market that loves that kind of stuff. Sneakerheads, fresh drinkers, crypto coin collectors, NFT collectors. There's some kind of thing going on here. So if they have, an angle into the market, into the culture, into if they're hooked in with the right people and have the right word of mouth around something like this, you could see something really special. I say go for these types of things.
Yeah,
I'm eager to see how it turns out.
Yeah, and hey, viewers, feel free to share thoughts, comments. We'll highlight them. We want to hear your comments. We want to engage with you on this as well. So, but Drink Kicks, hey, possibly a little too early. We don't know, but I will say that where things seem to go with, and we were just talking about this, I think yesterday, the NFT of things in terms of the ability to take, really, digitize a certificate, a token of that aspect of a physical object, as well as add utility on it. And I really think, given my background, you combine the physical engagement and exercise with digital tokens, NFTs for incentives. There's something there. Hey, we're going to see what's going on with.
Yeah, it looks like Oleg's talking into the mic, tapping on the camera.
Let's bring him back up. Oleg, what's going on? Oh, we got to bring him on. Sorry, we got to bring him on. Oleg.
It's already on your end.
We are ready. What's up? We are ready for you.
Awesome. Guys, can we have your attention, please? We're going to announce the winner just here in a second. Can we have your attention, please? The winner tonight.
Whoa.
Woo! Let's go. The winner of Founders Live Houston, Central Stage.
Drum roll.
May 18th. Drum roll. Alan Perez. Let's get rid of us. Congratulations, Alan. Great job, brother. We would like to hear something from you, like a couple words about experience, about your journey, please.
Well, thank you for this and the opportunity and just being a part of this growth. But
Also, you could be closer to the camera so our listeners can see you live.
we never shake it off. Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you, Oleg, Owen, John. I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Makita. For putting all of this on, because honestly, the experience of being around this environment and with Founders Live, the opportunity to bring people together just under one roof to network and just share ideas is just part of the fun. This is my first time being a part of actual pitch competition. It's been such a great experience, and hey, now I actually get to win. But just mingling amongst so many diverse minds and whatnot has been one of the best growth experiences for me to get even just to this point, and hopefully goes even further from here. So thank you guys.
Awesome. Let's give it up. Congratulations. Yes, guys. I want to thank you all again for joining us tonight. We want to also thank our sponsors. All the participants actually get something out of this. So you guys all get $5,000, and the winner gets 10,000 in AWS credits. And we also get some Google credits for you as well. And so we announced our winner. Congratulations. Please, guys, feel free to stay and hang out for a little bit. But I think we're gonna vote and pick a spot to go for after hours. Sorry?
Drinks on you.
Drinks on Founders. We have a sponsor. Relevance is going to sponsor a drink tonight. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you guys for helping me sit up.
Luis, so cool.
Thank you all so much.
What do you think, man? What do you think on that?
Thank you.
Again, jealous I'm not there. It's cool to see the winner. It's cool to see how it affects them in the whole experience. And it's great to see Houston, a newly revived city, or just come right into this place, the Ion in Houston, and fill it up and give so much support to all the founders. This is what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And for you that are still watching, hey, you're getting a glimpse of what it is to be at Founders Live. And this is just a glimpse. We say this all the time with all of our city leaders, what virtual events are fine and great where you're at in the world. But, we want you to be able to gather in person, hang out, have a drink, talk with people, really have a community. You'll see that now, everyone is wanting to go talk to the presenters, right? They're little mini celebrities, and they want to go, and people want to ask them questions, and they want to connect them with other people. And hey, I think I can help you here. And so that's the beauty, right? Again, we'll say it again, and no matter what, something special always comes from Founders Live events.
Yep. Yeah, and so what we're not going to get to see that happens at a Founders Live event is after this, after they clear out of the venue, they're going to go hit a bar nearby and continue this and have fun. And that's part of the core value as well. It's not just the work, and even though this whole thing is fun too, it's even more fun to go out with everybody else afterwards and really solidify some of those initial connections that you might have made during the event.
Oh yeah, that's always a fun part about it. It's always good stuff. Hey, we're gonna before we close up here, everyone, we're gonna bounce this on here and show you that hey, Center Stage happens every single week. Every single week we have new events happening, and our next event is a week from today, Harare, Zimbabwe, May 25th. Check it out. It's a little early. If you're in the United States, it's gonna be a little earlier in the morning for you, but we're excited, and we will be there bright and early for us. Luis, are you excited about that?
I am. This is what's special about Center Stage is, it isn't just from Houston every week. It's not from Seattle every week. It's not from the USA every week. Every week it's a different city. It's a different region of the world. And you can see the people with ideas from all over the place. You see a lot of the same things, but it's just amazing to see everybody around the world give their own take on this experience.
Yep. So I believe that the Zimbabwe event will be virtual, so it'll be a little different. It won't be in person.
Oh, right.
They're still trying to figure out, this is all the regulations there in Zimbabwe, which I'm familiar with, but I've been there back before the pandemic. They're just not fully ready to get back into an in-person event. So it'll be virtual, which is fine and great. But you'll see there that, then we have Bogota, then we have Jakarta, Indonesia. Then we have Nashville and Boston. We're excited about Nashville and Boston coming back to the United States. So big road ahead, and we know that the rest of the year is happening. So so cool, so excited. All right, before we're done, should we sign off with Oleg there?
Let's go back to Oleg. He looks like he's mobile and remote and ready to give us a peek into the aftermath here.
All right. Oleg, you're on, my friend.
Hey guys, I just wanted to tell you all thank you again for helping us doing the live stream on YouTube. I think this event went great. So far we have a great feedback. Magic is happening in the room as you could see it. We have a networking and collisions are happening here at the Ion Houston. So Founders Live is growing. Our community is growing here. We're all excited for our next event, and we are actually planning right now where we're going for the happy hour where people could connect even further. So, well, I should have.
Oh man, that. Well, hey Oleg, I want to tell you, incredible job. You got this down, man. You're a rock star. Luis, what do you? You're saying the same thing.
Same thing, man. You're killing it. You're doing exactly the right stuff here. We love it. We love the local flavor.
Where are we going after this?
Love how you run the event. Awesome.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for the feedback. People already asking where we're going for the after hours, but thank you so much. We're gonna jump off and
great
we really enjoy the night. Thank you, guys. Talk to you soon.
Great job.
Thank you.
Oh, love it, man. And so jealous. And hey, if you're still watching, great event. Look at that, Zach. Hey, Zach, what's going on? Zach shouting out from Indonesia. It's got to be early over there for you. So thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Lots of great stuff coming out of Indonesia. And Zach is over there as one of our city leaders. Really, really appreciate you. And thanks for joining in. Yeah.
It's so cool to see him. They just had Indonesia. We just had an event on this past Saturday that went off really well. Brand new city, and they pulled off hybrid. So they're going to be ready for when you go there this summer. We'll have more on that when you have your big announcement around that. But we got something special coming for Southeast Asia this summer.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to close up here. But again, we want to thank everyone that took part in this. We had such a great opening show. We had David Nurse. Luis, that was great. And if you didn't catch the first hour of this show, you got to go back to this link, which is on YouTube. It's recorded. So go back and watch David Nurse talking about mindness, or the mindset and mindfulness of being an entrepreneur, and his experience, professional basketball, working with professional NBA players, and now going into working with coaching, CEOs, founders, as well as athletes. It's an incredible conversation.
Yeah. it's amazing the crossover between the athletic world and being a startup founder and just being a human on the planet. There's so much about mindset that affects everything, and a little tune-up can take you far. So you had a little you had your own insight that you shared on the blog this past week. So check it out, founderslife.com/blog for Zach's own experience. Zach. Sorry, I'm looking at Zach's thing in the comment for Nick's own experience with what a mindset change did for him in running Founders Live.
Absolutely. And I want to give a shout out to Rob Turbin. He joined us. He's going to join us more frequently now as one of our new hosts of Center Stage on the days and weeks that he wants to join in with us, and it works with his schedule. Also, ex-athlete, played in the NFL, understands high performance mindset, turn that into a high performance entrepreneurial mindset and success. So thank you, Rob, and he's really a part of the team now, which is so cool. And Luis, hey man, about to sign off here. Your final thoughts on, just each week these get better. Each week these get better, man.
Yeah, I'm really glad to have Rob with us. He adds such good perspective, makes it fun, and we're just going to keep on going. Want to thank everybody for watching, and thank everybody for commenting in the comments here. And let's just keep this going. We'll see you next week from Zimbabwe in the Africa region. We'll be at Harare on May 25th.
Yeah. All right, everyone. That's it for today. We are signing off. Have a good time. Thank you for joining us today.